What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome to a new show that we're going to be trialing on Chelsea Fan TV. We're going to be bringing back things we learned, and yeah, well, what a game to start with. Southampton 2, Chelsea 1. This start to the season has been absolutely atrocious, and in this video, as the title says, we are going to be discussing all the main talking points surrounding Southampton versus Chelsea. Boy, do we have a lot to get into in this video. We'll also talk about the Aubameyang and Fofana stuff just to wrap up the show. Obviously, we know Fofana's been confirmed, unless you guys have been living under a rock over the last few hours. We'll discuss that. We'll talk about the Aubameyang stuff towards the end of the video. Before that, we have to talk about this game because I don't know what's going on with Chelsea right now. But in the words of Anthony Joshua, it don't look nice. It don't look nice at all. But we will delve into it. The return of Charity FC. Lavia with his first goal for Southampton. Adam Armstrong with his first goal in over a year. And Southampton with their first home win in 8. We will talk about everything surrounding this shocking performance. But before we get into it, like, subscribe, all of that. If you guys haven't done so already, check out Chelsea Fan TV. We are on the road to 160k. Please just give us something because we are struggling right now. So please hit that like button, press the subscribe button. If you guys haven't done so already, hit the bell notification button as well. And let's get into it. Terrible performance from Chelsea in a game that I actually thought was going to be good for our attack in terms of confidence. Southampton always seem to be a team that play on the front foot, but they don't really have the level of quality needed to dominate the top teams. We usually have a good time going to St. Mary's. We've got a strong record there. Mount loves playing against them. Havertz loves playing against them. Sterling likes playing against them. Thought it would be the right game. No, really not. My first talking point, as you guys can already tell, drop Havertz and drop Mason Mount. I have been saying this for the last few weeks now, and Tuchel continues to persist to play them. And this is our problem. Because for me, these two, and they're not just the biggest issue surrounding the squad. We're not just going to scapegoat the pair of them. But they know that their spots are not up for jeopardy. They will keep their spots regardless of how good or how bad of a performance that they play, and it is not good enough. It's half the reason why our other attackers do not want to be here anymore. Ziyech, I've already said, I understand the formation don't suit him. I get that. Pulisic, though. Pulisic gets so much slander. And I get he didn't have a good performance either yesterday. He was terrible. But he was shoehorned at right wing back again. And barely has game time. He has barely played a full 90 for Chelsea this season. And all of his appearances have come off the bench. As opposed to Havertz and Mount, who have started every game this season and have 0 goals. And no, fair play to Mount. He got 1 assist. Thank the Lord. But he's got 1 assist and 0 goals this season. Both have not been good enough. Both ended last season poorly as well, if we're being completely honest about it. But they still get put in the lineup after every single game. And then I see the likes of Pulisic getting absolutely slandered, and he's getting thrown at wing back. Like, that don't make any sense to me at all. The guy doesn't want to force his way out. He wants a loan move so he can get more game time and show himself. He even wanted to sign a 1-year extension to protect his resale value. So he clearly wants to be here. We just don't accommodate to him. Put Mount at wing back or Havertz at wing back and see how they perform. Same thing would have been with Cho when he was here. Even, God forbid, Timo Werner. But the same thing applied to him. He barely got any game time either. It's just a constance of Havertz and Mount. And everyone talks about how great their link-up is and everything. No, that is off the pitch. On the pitch, they don't show anything. Mount barely creates. He got his first open play assist yesterday, and he has struggled for open play assists his entire Chelsea career. Havertz, I genuinely don't know what his position is, and he needs to be dropped. Brozier did more in 15 minutes than he has done all season. But they continue to play. And that leads me to my second problem, my second talking point, and that is Thomas Tuchel. Tuchel has to take responsibility for this because he has clear favourites that he refuses to drop. And the whole issue with our midfield is on him. Because he said after the Leeds game, we did not need another midfielder. We have not gone out for another midfielder this entire window except shaking our ass for Frankie de Jong. And what has that left us with? One DM, who we already know the deficiencies with in Jorginho, was terrible again yesterday, by the way. I'm not sugarcoating his performances either. Got bypassed for fun. We have an injury-prone Kovacic, an injury-prone Loftus-Cheek, an injury-prone Kante, Gallagher who doesn't play in the pivot, and Billy Gilmour who wants to get loaned out. And that is the midfield we're relying on this season, in a cramped fixture list all the way up to the World Cup as well. That, whatever happens with the midfield, is on Tuchel. He cannot complain about the midfield if the window closes and we don't sign anyone. You had the opportunity to sign anybody. And instead, we've got 2 days left in the window. We're going to bring Vardiol in for 90 million next year and send him back to Leipzig. It makes absolutely no sense to me at all. Tuchel's responsible for the midfield, for the build-up play because he continues to persist with the same players up top. The defence, I don't really blame him too much for that. That's all the old regime and Marina not re-signing Rudiger and Christensen. That is fine. I understand it. The further forward we go, the more responsibility Tuchel has to take for me. Another talking point, the midfield. The midfield, we've already gone into it. It is not good enough for this season at all. Jorginho is only justifying all the criticism on him over the last few weeks. He is getting bypassed for fun. He is turning over possession for fun. And usually we would be able to accommodate for him with N'Golo Kante or Kovacic. But their injury record just continues to get worse and worse. And our season literally relies on their fitness. But what are we doing right now? Kante is already out injured. Mateo Kovacic is literally being forced back into the squad, unfit again. It is a recipe for disaster. And then I've already said Gallagher and Loftus-Cheek just aren't good enough. Literally are not good enough. And respect to the pair of them, but they aren't the standard. Not right now. Gallagher is being misprofiled too. He's being treated like N'Golo Kante when he should be treated like Mason Mount. He should be the linchpin between the midfield and the attack, or competing with Mount for that position. Not with N'Golo Kante because he can press. It makes no sense to me. Absolutely no sense at all. That's my third talking point. Sorry, my head is an absolute mess right now. Number 4. And this goes in perfectly because it's about top 4. Top 4 is not as easy as people think it's meant to be. Just because we're world champions, we got the badge on our chest. Well, not anymore because we don't wear it this season. But because we're world champions, because we're Chelsea, apparently we're guaranteed top 4. I was told on my streams a few weeks ago that how dare I even consider Tottenham or Arsenal to be top 4 contenders over us. Arsenal have handled an easy run-in very well. Whereas we have struggled with Leicester, Leeds and Southampton. Tottenham battered Southampton. We couldn't even beat Tottenham at the Bridge. And they hate coming to the Bridge. But I was told top 4 is easily attainable. No, it is not. Look at the squad that we have. It is not good enough right now. I worry that at the end of the window, it still will not be good enough. And it all depends on Tuchel, but Tuchel is not working the miracles that he used to. The football has been atrocious for 9/10 of 2022. And I don't know how we improve on that. But we have to find a way to improve on that. And that is on Tuchel to figure it out. But yeah, I don't know what happens with the transfers. I will talk about Fofana and Aubameyang to the end of it. My last talking point is Edouard Mendy. Another one who needs to be dropped. Has to be dropped. Game in, game out, I'm seeing mistake after mistake from Mendy. It started to the end of last season. It continued through pre-season and it is continuing now. You can say Aspi should have done a lot better on that clearance for the first goal. I completely agree with you. Mendy still got his hands to it. And it was weak. It was the same thing I criticised Kepa for. So Mendy has to hold the same energy as Kepa, in my opinion. And for me, Mendy has to be dropped. He has not been good enough. The room for error as a goalkeeper is at the bare minimum. It is at the bare minimum. You cannot continuously make mistakes at this level of football as a goalkeeper because they will all lead to goals. We saw it when he got beat at the near post against Leicester. We saw it with the Leeds car crash. We saw it through pre-season. We saw it to the end of last season. Has to be dropped. That game was absolutely atrocious. I do not know where we go from there. I'm not going to be at the game at Saturday either because I need a mental break from all of this already, and we're only 4 games in. But at least there's transfers coming in. And yeah, they are all defenders, but they're transfers. Fofana comes in. At the very least, it means we don't have to see Reece James at right centre-back or Aspi at right centre-back. We solidify our back 5. That means we should be a bit more comfortable defensively because we were getting cooked defensively yesterday. And we're leaking goals for fun. At least Fofana might solidify that. If he doesn't, God knows what we do from there. But I'm confident in Fofana. I do believe he'll be a good addition to the squad on a much more positive note. And yeah, he's got a big price tag on his head that rival fans will scrutinise his every error for. But he's got to hold that. You got to hold that. That's what happens at this level of football. I believe he will still be good enough and he will have better players surrounding him as opposed to Maguire. He's also on a 6-year contract, so he shouldn't have to worry about him potentially trying to rat us out to move to a bigger club. We have him on a death row contract. The boy ain't going nowhere. Vardiol, like we already said, we're talking about getting him in for 90 million, loaning him back to Leipzig, and then bringing him back next season. All that says to me is that it confirms that Thiago Silva will not be here next season. I did hear rumours of it last season, that this would be his last season, and then he would go back to Brazil to retire. More power to him. Could stay here for another year or 2, in all honesty. But I don't blame him. Guy has had a long and brilliant career. Brilliant career. More power to him, and Vardiol's a great option for us to bring in as well. It's just, bro, we are 2 days left towards the end of the window, and we are still bringing centre-backs in. I don't understand it, but at least it solidifies us for the future. It's good from a long-term perspective. In terms of our attack, though, I don't know what we do. We're only just now starting to look at Wilfried Zaha. We are so late on that, but we can still get him if we slap 30 to 40 on the table. I believe we can do it. And with the Aubameyang news, we probably will have to, because he's going to be out for about 5 to 6 weeks with a broken jaw after a house robbery that he was involved in a week or 2 ago. Now, I don't want to speak too much on it because the guy got robbed, I think at gunpoint, in front of his family, suffered a broken jaw. And I think there's a lot of other issues that matter a lot more as opposed to, oh, we're not going to have a striker for 5 weeks if we sign Aubameyang. Like, I'm not even going to discuss that sort of stuff. Get well soon. Thoughts and condolences to him and his family and all of that. I do not condone that sort of stuff at all. And I'm not thinking about this from a footballing perspective. He needs to get better mentally as well as physically. But I don't know what that means for us in terms of transfer front. Does it mean we still go for him? Does it mean we now turn our focus to Tony or maybe Ronaldo? I don't know, but anything could happen on that front. If Aubameyang comes, I will support him, I will back him. If he even starts poorly, I'm probably going to throw it off to the house robbery because that sort of thing can happen. And I'm talking a lot seriously on this regard because I do not want to make a joke of this at all. It's a house robbery. Whatever happens with him is whatever happens, but we have to go at his speed with that. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's hope we beat West Ham. Let's hope. Up the Chelsea.